Hello friends, hope you are well. Welcome to this week's Dirt Report, home of tech and telco news from all around Australia with some international tidbits. This week we have had quite a bit of news both locally and abroad, but a little bit more on the abroad side, so let's get straight into it. Today we have NBN fiber to the node upgrades take their first baby steps, Westpac tries to destroy the competition, and for the first time the international tidbits take lead in the amount. So we have Virginia speeding their internet up, Microsoft offering a cloud OS, Ford becoming a meme, and Amazon protecting their integrity. Thanks for jumping in. Make sure you like this video if you did and subscribe to support us. And if you haven't already, check out the Nielsen NBN research panel. You may remember them from such hits as TV watching and your radio listening habits. This time around, get rewarded with points for sharing your NBN speeds by joining the Nielsen NBN research panel. You can turn those points into vouchers for places like Amazon, Bunnings, and links below for more details. Let's get started by rolling the intro. NBN Co has finally lifted the lid on the $3 billion worth of upgrades, which we will go into in a second. But also today, NBN Co has taught us a new abbreviation. You've heard of fiber to the node, so FTTN, FTTC, NBN Co, POI. Well, get ready for N2P, also known as N2P evolution. Fancy words. It stands for Node to Premises, and it is in reference to the $1.1 billion upgrade out of the $3 billion pool. How cool. This week, the fiber to the node upgrade has had its construction partners appointed. The folks who will get you upgraded so you can watch Disney Plus at 4K will be Downer Group, Fulton Hogan Utilities, Lendlease Services, and Vision Stream. This doesn't affect the Northern Territory and Tassie, as the current contracts already cover those states, so the group mentioned will be looking after all the other states. NBN Co expects to upgrade 1.8 million premises by 2023, and I expect so too. Or at least I'm hoping. After all, fiber to the node is bottom of the barrel, and getting those households sorted will lift Australia's overall connectivity standing by a significant margin. On the wireless side, it looks like Downer will work on the fixed wireless network with a contract worth $60 million over 2 years, and if NBN Co decides to extend it, it'll reach $120 million, which they probably will. Plenty of work needing to be done on that network. However, Starlink's pressure has only increased, and many NBN wireless users are planning to move over. Nonetheless, the wireless upgrades are on their way. Let me know your thoughts below. Are you moving to Starlink? Are you waiting for the upgrades? Let's chat there. The headline reads, and in summary, that Westpac Bank, who you may remember getting fined a record $1.3 billion by Austrac for money laundering, well, Westpac is debanking certain companies, which is the act of rejecting a company for providing banking services to it. They have debanked 8 fintechs in a year, touting the companies are high risk. But the question is, a risk to whom? Also, for those who don't know who ATRAC is, they are the Australian Transaction Reports and Analysis Centre, a government financial intelligence agency responsible for monitoring financial transactions to identify money laundering, organised crime, tax evasion, welfare fraud, and terrorism financing. So to understand this story, we need to understand what a fintech startup is, or at least what a fintech company is. And it's not a weight-shedding app for your high school reunion because you have been in lockdown for months, centimeters away from the fridge. No, not at all. Financial technology, abbreviated as fintech, is the technology and innovation that aims to compete with traditional financial methods in the delivery of financial services. Are you starting to get a bit of an idea what's going on here? It is an emerging industry that uses technology to improve activities in the classical finance. The use of smartphones for mobile banking, investing, borrowing services, and cryptocurrency are examples of technologies aimed to make financial services more accessible to the general public. Financial technology companies consist of both startups and established financial institutions and technology companies, trying to replace or enhance the usage of financial services provided by existing financial companies. More than 200 scientific papers citing the term fintech concluded that, and now banks are running scared. Taking a step back, there are over 800 fintech companies in Australia. In fact, we have one of the world's most exciting and dynamic fintech industries. In fact, the Australian fintech industry is estimated to grow to $5 billion next year. And Australia is well suited as a hub, as we're on the doorstep to Asia, which is increasingly becoming a home for the world's economic center. This makes Australia a great location indication of companies wanting to establish their Asian regional headquarters. So this week, the Senate will be examining Westpac's practices of declining and ceasing offering banking services to 8 fintech companies in the last 12 months. I have linked below the document outlining the decision by Westpac, and my favorite part of that report is that the risk that Westpac is referring to is an anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism laws, which according to Westpac is how they determine which fintech organizations or individuals to refuse financial services. For their record fine, Westpac failed to properly report more than 19.5 million instructions to transfer money overseas or bring foreign funds into Australia, totaling more than $11 billion, but of course profiting from those said transfers. Now, financial institutions are required to submit a report to AUSTRAC within 10 days of an instruction to make an international transfer. So the question grows to, is Westpac destroying fintech companies that threaten its future, or are they actually abiding by laws to stop fraud? Well, the question begs another question. Are they supposed to just report rather than kick them out straight away? Nonetheless, let's chat below. You see, fintechs in Australia are working on better payment systems, such as contactless, usually meaning no to lower fees, money management applications to give people more control over their money, blockchain and regulatory automation, the applications of both consumers and businesses. This is kind of scary for banks. They are gonna get uprooted. Let me know below your thoughts. What is Westpac up to? Sources linked below, of course. Speaking of international transactions, it's time to transact to our international stories. That was a terrible segue. Let's jump into some interesting news from all around the world. And before you do that, make sure to smash that like button, then subscribe to see more videos like this and support us. So let's get into it. The American state of Virginia has made a historic investment in state's connectivity by announcing an investment of $700 million to reach universal broadband connectivity by 2024. That's not far off. This plan will shave off 4 years of the original plan for universal connectivity in the state. Now, the state wants to close their digital divide where hundreds of homes are actually without any internet. They even have it worse than us. Back in March, President Joe Biden signed the American Rescue Plan, providing billions of COVID-19 relief for states. Now, the $700 million will come from the $4 billion that Virginia received in relief from the Rescue Plan. Next up, cloud PCs are becoming mainstream, and Microsoft has revealed Windows 365, a full Windows in-browser experience. Your full operating system experience can now sit completely in the cloud, accessible from wherever you are via a browser, not just a remote desktop application. Fear not, it's not Windows 11. The announcement should help with companies who are unable to access their business data when working remotely, and Microsoft says it blurs the line between personal devices and cloud, calling it hybrid computing. This solution is meant for non-enterprise customers, as they still have a much more customizable platform called Azure Virtual Desktop. Now, Ford has become a meme, or created a meme, or has memed on its own customers? I'm really not sure. After conducting a survey of its customers, Ford found that 1 in 5 drivers will miss the smell of petrol the most when they switch to an electric car. So what could they do to help that 1 in 5 driver? Well, they came up with this straight out of Grand Theft Auto story script. Ford created a premium fragrance inspired by gasoline called Mach-E-A-U, or Mach-E, I guess. Ford and All Fiction, Ford's fragrance partner for Mach-E-A-U, or E, I suppose, A-U, says aside from reminding you of gasoline, the fragrance contains notes reminiscent of almond benzoyldehyde, a smell associated with car interiors, and pyracresol, which provides the rubber smell of tires. I can smell it right now, I can really imagine it. These were further blended with blue ginger, lavender, geranium, and sandalwood for additional smoky, metallic, and rubbery notes. The company has also included an animal element to give the impression of horses, because, you know, Ford. Anyway, I wish I could max out my credit card on this, but alas, this is not going on sale. It's debuted at the Greenwood Festival of Speed, so don't expect it to come to the Chemist Warehouse for $289.99. But maybe in a few years, Ford will give one free with every purchase of their Mach-E or F-150 electric trucks. Next up, Amazon has always said they are here for you. The customer and their customer support is pretty darn good, but this week's move has put that to the question. Fakespot, known for its web browser extensions that tries to weed out fake product reviews, suddenly no longer had an iPhone or iPad app because Amazon sent Apple a takedown notice. Now, Amazon says it was concerned about how a new update to the Fakespot app was wrapping its website without permission and how that could be theoretically exploited to steal Amazon customer data. Now, Fakespot is an extension and was an app that checked the truthfulness of each product's star rating, and if it found that some reviews were fake, it would give you back a revised star rating, and this was an absolute godsend for a problem Amazon has said they have cracked down on, but fake reviews are still flooding by the millions. You can use the extension on your web browser at the moment anyway, so if you wish to give it a go, let me know your thoughts if it works for you. Seems to be doing well for me. In any case, and on that unsurprising story, we have to end this episode. Thank you very much for joining us. Make sure to like this video if you did, and if you'd like to see more, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Lastly, check out the NBN Nielsen research panel if you haven't already. Share your NBN stats and earn points to exchange into vouchers for Amazon or Bunnings and more. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye!